Awesome. All right. So today is January 20th. This is Guerrilla Health Radio. I'm Dr. Jason Bradley, founder of Epic Functional Medicine and the developer of the Epic 5 Plan. And I am so excited here to have my friend Cassy, Burnvoth founder and CEO of FATCO Natural Personal Care Products. Cassy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're here too. So first of all, FATCO is such a great name. It's very memorable and I love it. We love your products. I love your deodorant. But before we get into your product line, you have a very inspiring story that really is why you developed this company to begin with. Can you share with us your story?
Yeah, for sure. So I was living in San Diego in 2012. I think I did my first Whole30. I was a long distance runner, running half marathons. I was healthy. I thought I was healthy. I was living a healthy lifestyle. And as part of that first Whole30, I started not only reading the labels on my food, but also reading the labels on my personal care products, reading my deodorant, my shampoo, my facial cleansers, all these products that we use on our body every single day. And I was blown away to find out that most of the ingredients, I couldn't even pronounce them. I didn't know what they were. And I felt really uncomfortable using them on my body. So I started making my own products. I was a big Pinterest fan. I would go on Pinterest, find recipes, combine them. My background is mechanical engineering. So I joked that I was like a super nerd by day, but then when I came home, it was just kind of my creative outlet. I just enjoyed making these products and just kind of sharing them with my friends and family. And as part of that, Whole30, started following a lot of paleo bloggers, Weston A. Price Foundation, started learning about tallow and the fact that tallow had been used for a really long time ago, for skincare. And I thought, well, there's nobody else out there making these types of products. I'm going to try to integrate tallow into the recipes that I'm already making and kind of see how I like it. So I was buying small batches of tallow off this girl from Etsy at the time, and just making really small batches, trying different things out. And these products were amazing, like way better than anything I had ever tried from, Target or any store. So I thought, I think a lot of people have this dream of starting a business, but it's really hard to figure out, like, what do you love? What are you so passionate about that you're going to do it for the rest of your life, potentially? And I thought, this is something like this has legs. This could be something really cool and innovative and different. You go to trade shows and they talk about disruptive brands. Like, this was a disruptive brand in the skincare category. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. I had about 10 grand in my savings account, and I thought, I'm going to give this a go and see what's the worst thing that happens. I fall flat on my face and it doesn't succeed, whatever. So I thought, I'm going to start a business and give it a shot. And I did. And 6 years later, here we are.
Here we are. And it's great. And so I love, I'm just enjoying your pictures in the back too. Control your stank is one of my favorite lines that you guys use. I love that. So there's so much here to unpack already. And so thank you for the stimulating conversation. I do agree with you that often overlooked, so many people are label reading now with foods, which is awesome. And trying to eat, real food, following Michael Pollan's advice, real food, not too much, mostly vegetables, which is really great advice. But when it comes to personal products, skincare products and otherwise, it's one of those things that we kind of forget about, right? So here's my question. This is the big thing. And I don't know the answer to this, but what was the driving force? I know that you said you wanted clean products, but I'm beating around the bush. Let me just get right to it. Do people need to be worried about aluminum and aluminum products in their products?
Yes, the answer is yes. There are a lot of chemicals and things in conventional. I'm gonna say conventional, not store-bought, because 2021, we're in a time where there are a lot of natural brands, like really good brands. There are good brands out there making good quality products, but conventional products, these are ingredients that could cause infertility, reproductive health, harm, birth defects. Aluminum, is really bad. And you're putting it in a place that's very sensitive skin, that's really close to really important lymph nodes.
Yep.
The fact that people want to say that, oh, I just use a small amount and I use it once a day, it's not a big deal. I think the last statistic I read was that the average woman uses 12 products, and we're using it every single day. You're not using once a week, once a month, once a year. You're using it every single day.
Right.
And those toxins, on top of all the other things, the cleaning products you're using, your shampoo, your conditioner, all these environmental toxins are building up, and they're creating a problem. So even though, you know, you might think, oh, it's just a little bit, it's a little bit every day times however many products. You might think you don't use a lot of products, but when you really do the work, you're using a lot of products.
Well, and it's so true. You know, at our clinic, we will run lab tests on folks, and we run one of the tests that we run pretty regularly is a heavy metal test. And we find aluminum toxicity, you know, all the time coming up in that severe category. And of course, the first thing that comes to mind is, you know, what's your deodorant? What skincare products are you using? And we see that, you know, quite a bit. So the other thing that I wanted to chat about on the same note is, what the heck is tallow?
So tallow is cow fat. It's funny that you point out our signs. From the beginning, I thought, hey, we're making skincare products with cow fat in them. Like, let's have fun with it. Let's have funny phrasing. Let's just like really, you know, we're really loud and proud about our use of tallow. So we talk, you know, hashtag BFAT rules. Like we are proud about it because it's an amazing ingredient. So tallow is cow fat. So suet is the fat that encompasses the internal organs of the animal. All the fat that we use is all the tallow that we use is derived from suet fat. We've actually did different trials using scrap fat. So obviously in a cow, there's a lot of fat. There is a suet, which encompasses the internal organs, and there's other pieces of random fat. And that random other fat around the animal actually doesn't have the same nutrient density profile as suet. I know this because we have a lot of customers, longtime customers, who use our body butters for eczema or psoriasis. And at one time we did a small test, I received emails from customers saying, what changed? Something is different about your products because it is not helping my eczema like it has in the past. And that's what it was from. So so suet is the fat that encompasses the internal organs. You know, you hear a lot of nutritionists say you should be eating liver and organ meat, and because it's really nutrient dense and good for you. And oddly enough, the fat that is around those organs has a very similar nutrient density profile. I'm still struggling to find somebody who wants to do the research for me. Jason, if you know somebody who wants to do that for me, because I've contacted Texas A&M University. I've contacted lots of like research universities to try to figure out what it is that makes it so amazing for skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis. But that's what it is. It's cow fat, and it has a very similar consistency to coconut oil. I don't think it smells. Some people will say, oh, it smells really beefy, but I've never had that experience.
I've never smelled that at all with your products at all. So that's just me.
Even the baby butter, which has no essential oils in it, I think still smells really nice.
Yeah.
All of the fat that we use right now comes from a company called FatWorks. So you might have heard of them for cooking fat. So they sell chicken schmaltz, they sell lard, they sell all kinds of animal fats, primarily sold as cooking fats. But we use it to make skincare products.
And speaking of your sourcing too, I know that, just like the ingredients in your products, you're very careful about where you get the sources of your products as well.
Yeah. So I had this idea to start this company in 2013. I actually have very clear memories of going to my first trade show in Anaheim. And I thought, I'm going to find a tallow supplier because I can't start a company and buy tallow from this girl off Etsy. I need a real tallow supplier. And I walked that show floor and I asked everybody, and whenever I would ask somebody, they would say, well, what do you want tallow for? And I said, I want to start a skincare company. And they looked at me like I had two heads. And I remember leaving that show feeling really defeated, because thinking, if I can't find a good source for tallow, I'm never going to be able to start this company. Lo and behold, a couple months later, I found David and FatWorks, and it all worked out. But,
awesome.
Even at that time, it was very much like people like, what do you want cow fat for? That's weird. So it was really hard to find a good source. Yeah, obviously. But FatWorks, I love them because they are sourcing from small US-based family-owned farms. Animals are grass-fed, grass-finished. It's really high quality. And, that is the key behind the efficacy of our products, is the sourcing and how high quality the animal fats are.
Well, and those animal fats that are from, the grass-fed and pastured animals, I mean, they're going to be so much higher in omega-3s and omega-9s, which are going to be the anti-inflammatory, oils compared to those omega-6s that could, cause
Yeah.
inflammation. And it's probably, I mean, again, I'm no researcher, but it's probably inherent in why it's helping out the eczema and other skin conditions, inflammatory skin
Yeah.
conditioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that it's 2021 and there's a lot of products out there, some store bought, some store offered products. And by the way, your products are at fatco.com, FATCO.com. And
Yeah.
while I'm on that, you've offered our listeners a very awesome discount of 15% off just by using the code Health Warrior, all one word Health
Yeah.
Warriors, which is great,
Yeah.
fatco.com. How is FATCO different than those other natural products?
Yeah. So we're natural, and I hate the term natural because the term
Sure.
natural has become a little wishy-washy in the last couple of years.
Sure.
But I like to say that our products are truly natural. You can read everything on the ingredients list. You can pronounce it. It's things like coconut oil and shea butter and tallow and olive oil. It's real natural ingredients that you know what they are. You know what you're putting onto your body. Things like our body butter, actually, all of our products, we're not using any preservatives. Now, some people might say, well,
Wow.
that's really dangerous. But when you have a product that contains no water, it's literally a combination of fats and oils that creates a really shelf-stable product. So a lot of companies, like if you buy a conventional lotion, they're taking water and oil and emulsifying it. They're forcing it to stay together for sometimes up to 3 years on a shelf. So yes, when you're creating products and formulating products that need to have a long shelf life, you do have to use preservatives. But there aren't that many preservative systems out there that I feel really comfortable using. And since we were able to create something that's just a mix of fats and butters, we are able to get away with not using preservatives. So that's one thing. There are a lot of preservative systems out there that are really dangerous and, full of nasty stuff, hormone disruption, infertility, all that bad stuff, that we don't have to use that.
And it's interesting too, because I think that, the word natural and the word organic can even, it's become really muddied, right? They're almost political terms and kind of wishy-washy at some points. And I like that you describe that.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the things that I always think about when people say, natural and organic is let's not forget that glyphosate is an organophosphate, and it's completely an organic product, and God knows it causes, lymphomas and other types of cancers.
Yeah.
So
no, there are lots of brands in the skincare category that are coming out with, now we have our organic Neutrogena Organics. It's organic, but it's still the same stuff in there. They just found somebody to certify their crap as organic.
Right.
But it's
tell me how you really feel.
Yeah. So,
Oh boy, no, I like that. And I didn't know that your products had no preservatives. That's really super interesting. So here's a question: do your products have a shelf life then? I mean, is there like
for safety, we have so most of our products, all of them, well, not all of them, most of them are a little bit different from one another, but we say to open them within 2 years of manufacturing. So like our fat stick, for instance, that is open within 2 years of manufacturing. So we label that date on the product. And then we say to open within 6 months or a year to use within 6 months or a year of opening. So, if you open that product on January 1st, you really should be using it within 6 months. However, I found we used to be called Fat Face Skincare when I first started the company. I found an old Fat Face stick in my car the other day, and it was fine. Because it's cocoa butter and coconut oil and tallow. It's all these super shelf-stable fats, and it's been living in my car for like 2 years, and it still tasted fine. But yes, for safety, we say use within 6 months or a year, and that can be found on. It's called a pill pot symbol on the side of the product. It looks like a little pill pot being opened, and that has the use, like the use by amount of time.
I like that a whole lot. I like that it's boy, I'm going to use the word again. I like that it's so natural though that it has an expiration date. I think that's fantastic.
We go grocery shopping for vegetables every week. Why do we buy skincare products that we think are going to sit on a shelf for a year and a half and still be fine? That's cuckoo.
I fully agree with you. Yeah. So just taking, you've mentioned a lot of things like the body butter and some other pieces. I was on your website earlier today, and actually total fib there. My wife was on your website and she was asking me lots of questions that she wanted me to ask you. So Rachel wants to know all about oil cleansing. Walk me through what is, because it seems, antithetical to be putting oil on your skin to get cleansed, because, you hear like oil clogs the pores and all this. Walk me through oil cleansing.
Yeah. So when I first started the company, I was really focused on deodorant, but I was also oil cleanser. You'd ask me before what's my favorite product. I'm going to say oil cleanser is like my favorite product because it made such a huge difference in my skin personally. So I always suffered from really oily skin through college, my younger years. I was like carried around blotting papers. I just could not get rid of my oily skin. And I used all the products that said for oily skin. I followed the marketing. I was using all the products that I thought I should have been using. And what I learned is that those products, they are designed to strip your skin of oil, right? I have too much oil on my skin. I want to get rid of it. So let's just strip my skin of oil. And when I did that, my skin is, your skin is creating that oil for a reason. And when you strip your skin of that oil, it goes into almost like overproduction mode because you've thrown it out of balance. You've thrown it out of whack. It's constantly trying to achieve a balance, your skin is. And through using all of those products that I was buying that were super, just too harsh on my skin, I was creating the problem. I was making it even worse. So I started learning about this oil cleansing thing, and I was, again, Pinterest, finding recipes, mixing different blends, and I had never had skin as clear, and I was like blown away. I thought, how have I been missing this? How I've been doing what I feel like are the right things. How have I never heard about this before? So the oil cleanser is my favorite product because I think it has such potential to change people's skin, because I think it's a problem. A lot of people suffer from oily skin, from acne, and sometimes I think that women do too much to their skin. We're always trying to fix it and change it. And if somebody tells me, oh, I wash my face with water and they have beautiful skin, I'm like, that's awesome, because I think sometimes we need to like keep it simple. So oil cleansing, the idea is you are washing your face with clean, natural oils. You're allowing your skin to rebalance its own natural oil production, and you're just kind of like, and at the same time you're moisturizing your skin with these healthy oils. And when I thought about that, I was like, well, that makes sense. It's really hard though to say, hey, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I have this look at my oil slick on my face, I'm gonna put some more oil on it. Like, it's super counterintuitive, and it's so hard to convince people to try it. But I tell people, give it a shot. Just do it for 2 weeks. I mean, most of us were like, we've been in quarantine for almost a year now. Like, now's the perfect time. Just try it.
Just try it out.
But
I keep thinking, where were you during my teenage years? This is I had such bad acne when I was growing up, and boy, I feel bad for my kids because I think they got some of that from me. But I'll have to get the oil cleansing. And also, I was thinking, when we are stripping that oil away, we always talk about the microbiome, and we're always thinking about the gut and the probiotics in the gut, and all those healthy bacteria. But the reality is, our skin has a microbiome as well. And when we're stripping that natural oil off our skin, we're basically killing the ability of that healthy microbiome to grow in our skin, leaving then an opportunity for other types of bacteria that can cause bacterial, acne, which is one of the main causes of acne. Is exactly. So when you're replenishing it with oil, it makes sense that you'd be supporting the microbiome of the skin. I mean, it just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So oil cleansing, I'm going to have to pass. I'm definitely, I learned about a new product. I learned about a whole new thing. Tell me about this eczema. So we have a lot of clients that have eczema, and I know that a lot of folks out there, I mean, shoot, I think if you turn on TV, in any given half-hour segment, you're going to see an eczema commercial for something, right? Tell me about your eczema product.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to be careful and say it's not an eczema product, because according to the FDA, we are not legally allowed to say that it's going to provide any treatment for eczema. But I do know that we have a lot of customers who use our body butters for their eczema. Again, I'm not going to be able to tell you the science behind it. I still struggle to find, I'm still struggling to find somebody who can help me to understand the science behind it. But it is something about the nutrient density profile of the fat, very high in vitamins A, D, K, and E, that is providing this kind of soothing quality to people with skin conditions like with eczema and psoriasis. Now, I do believe that those skin conditions are also very driven by diet. So, if you're eating, I always recommend people try cutting out gluten, try cutting out dairy. That can sometimes help. But I don't think that there's much good in using steroid creams or other things that dermatologists are typically going to recommend to you, because it can cause major disruption to your skin. It might help for a short while, but I think in the long term, it's probably not best. This totally comes from a place of not knowing, because I have never suffered from eczema. Nobody in my immediate family has ever suffered from eczema that I know of. But all I know is hundreds of reviews that I've gotten from customers that tell me, your products are amazing. It's the only thing I use.
I love that. I always think of you. I think the first product that I knew about from you guys was the deodorant, of course. So in my head, FATCO deodorant.
Yeah, I know
that strong connection. I like that I'm learning about oil cleansing. I'm learning about the body butter. There's a whole lot going on. I learned about what suet is. I didn't know what suet was, and tallow. So I think that this is fantastic.
It's tough because we have our champion products, but we offer so much more. So you obviously have to talk about those champion products a lot, but there's so much more to FATCO.
So I have a totally bizarre question. I mean, and listen, I know that this is also not going to be FDA approved. I'm just curious. Since the products are basically shelf stable, and I know they're not edible. I understand that they're not edible, but theoretically, since they're just food products, I mean, could these products be edible?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I like to joke that if you were stuck on a deserted island and you had a tub of body butter, you'd be okay for a little while, because it's fats, it's healthy fats.
That's what I was just thinking.
Olive oil, tallow. You could eat it.
I was thinking, I didn't think about the deserted island. I was thinking about the zombie apocalypse, right? So I was thinking, we should keep some of that body butter and the tallow around just for that.
Yeah.
I know
exactly.
So, and I think you answered this. So aside from the oil cleanser, because you already mentioned that, what's your favorite product that you guys put out?
My favorite is the oil cleanser, but a close second is the fat stick. So our fat stick is our all-purpose moisturizing stick. Obviously great for a chapstick, but it's like a giant chapstick on steroids. So a typical chapstick tube is 0.15 ounces. Ours is 0.5 ounces. So it's big.
Oh, wow.
It lasts forever. You can use it as a lip balm, but cuticles, elbows, knees, feet, you can really use it anywhere and everywhere.
And when you apply something like the fat stick to, the elbows, a lot of people have that rough elbow skin.
Yeah.
Obviously it's a fat. It rubs. Does it get absorbed into the skin, or does it stay on the surface?
If you've never used our products before, you might try them and think they're a little bit of a greasy feel. I prefer to put body butter. I'll put it on at night before I go to bed. Sure. As long as you're using, and I say start small, a little goes a long way. Right. So don't use if you're used to using lotion, you're going to use a big glob. Don't use a big glob. Use a small amount at first. It does rub into the skin very well. It's not going to stain your sheets or anything. But wow. I say that very carefully, use a small amount, because I've had customers say, oh, it's just greasy everywhere. I'm like, you're probably using too much.
Yeah,
but tallow is an animal fat. We're animals, right? In the end, we're not plants, we're animals. So it's actually more structurally similar to the fats and oils in our skin than plant-based oils. We love plant-based oils, use a lot of them in our products, but tallow is just, it's more similar to the fat, the oil that your skin is naturally producing.
I love that. And, we are animals. And I was just thinking about the high in vitamins A, D, E, and K, which of course are the fat soluble vitamins. And it would make perfect sense. I mean, our skin needs those vitamins. I mean, we have folks that come in with various types of, skin irritations, whether it be acne, eczema, psoriasis, et cetera. And when we do a nutritional analysis with their blood, we always find a lot of vitamin A, vitamin D, deficiencies or insufficiencies. And I always said, I wish there was a product that was all natural. I hate that word again now, but all natural, that had a high amount of vitamin A in it, because I think that would really help people's skin. And I think I just found one. So thank you for helping me to help others. I really appreciate it. So just to mention, FATCO.com, again, use the code Health Warrior for 15% off. And while we're at that, if we had I have one final question for you. One take-home piece of advice, what would it be to our listeners?
Yeah. I'm going to say that everyone should learn how to read labels. Like we were talking about before, on your food, on your skincare products, on everything. Marketing is crazy nowadays. Every company, every brand is going to market to you how they want to market to you. They're going to tell you what the product does in the packaging, how organic and natural and great it is. That's not always the reality. So it is your responsibility to know what you're putting into your bodies and what you're putting onto your bodies. We can't trust marketing. It's just the way it is nowadays. And we all need to be our own health warriors. I really believe that. I think that we need to take ownership of our health and ownership of all of the things that we surround ourselves with. It's really our responsibility when it comes down to it. We can't trust anyone else.
Well, and I think that there's a misconception out there that the FDA, we mentioned them a couple of times, are, watching, all of these companies, yours included, like a hawk, and they're gonna, oh, you can't put that ingredient there, and you use the word organic.
We didn't even touch on that, but it's unfortunate. It's fortunate for me because I was able to start a skincare company 6 years ago, just like out of the blue. But it is unfortunate for the consumer, I think, because the FDA is skincare is a completely unregulated category by the FDA. They're not
self-regulated. Is that right?
Yeah, they are not watching companies like a hawk. There are some big beauty companies out there now that are doing, I think, amazing work. They're probably my direct competition, but they're doing amazing work to make higher level regulatory changes, because this is something that needs to be better regulated. I'm all for that. But yeah, they're not watching brands and companies like a hawk. So we need to be that hawk. We need to be watching and really understanding what we're putting onto our bodies.
It's almost like we're responsible for our own health, So.
Yeah, right? Crazy. Weird.
Crazy. It's crazy. Well, Cassy, thank you so much for coming on today. And again, fatco.com, 15% off with the code Health Warrior. And thank you for your products. I know that you added a few to our household, and I'm excited to start using them.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Thanks a lot.
All right.
And until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. Take care.